Well, we're here at Service World Expo, and I'm hanging out at the Smart AC booth. They were nice enough to be able to give measureQuick a little bit of space. In the booth, we got a banner up on the backside to be able to show people about the partnership between Smart AC and measureQuick. And we got this fine gentleman right here named Andy. And so, Andy, I want to ask you a little bit about why does Smart AC and measureQuick work together?
Yeah, it's extremely complementary software, right? Everything starts with the system running correctly, and nobody does that better than measureQuick, right? But when the technician's not on site, and that's one of the limitations of the industry today, is they leave and then you don't know what happens. And that's where Smart AC takes over. So it's really the combination of the two that ensures not only it's running correctly from day one, but it continues to operate exactly how you want it to. And when it doesn't, then the flags can be sent to let the homeowner know, let technicians know. That's really where the two work extremely well together.
Yeah, and I know that you've done a lot of lab testing with Jim, some home testing with Jim. You did a lot of work to get Jim's confidence.
Yeah.
So
he's not an easy fellow to impress and to get through. Yeah, he knows systems better than probably anybody on the planet. And so yeah, it was a long time. I mean, I think from the time we first engaged him that we wanted to do something, it was probably at least 9 months of conversations, ongoing testing, lab testing, verifications, and he challenged a lot of the aspects of the platform in a good way, right? It made us rethink some things, and we've been able to make some adaptations and improvements just based on things coming from Jim. So yeah, that part has been fantastic as well.
And I've done a lot of work with IoT sensors and with dashboards and with alerting, and there's a lot of systems, there's a lot of IoT like HVAC monitoring platforms that are on the market that provide data. They provide insights. They got 24/7 information. They will tell you if, when something happens with the system or when something is out of spec. But oftentimes it ends up being very overwhelming for the business, so that they can't actually take any action. You end up just having a lot more, basically just stress added to the business instead of value. So right. Smart AC does something special which sets you way apart from the competition. What is that?
Well, I think first and foremost we started with the homeowner experience, because a lot of the platforms, like you said, focus on the data, and the data only informs about the equipment. That's just one part of the whole equation, right? The communication has to be there between the contractor and the homeowner first and foremost. The homeowner is the one that's often left in the dark about how everything operates, and so putting that homeowner front and center with information that is action-oriented, but also educational, way that they understand what's happening, brings a level of transparency and visibility between the contractor and the homeowner now just didn't exist. Also, there's just general things that a homeowner has to do to take care of their system, like changing filters, and the platform helps inform them of when they need to do that, and also makes it a lot easier. So that's kind of where it all started for us, is if you can put the homeowner now back to the center of the circle and say, what do we need to do to properly serve them? Then everything else flows from that. And the data is just a means to provide a better communication platform between the two parties.
Oh, the next side though, because interpreting the data is often such a mess and is so annoying for contractors to have to deal with. So that's what I was getting at. You guys are doing something very special with interpreting the data.
Right, I mean, we basically wanted to do all the heavy lifting on the data side. We did not want anybody to have to be data experts. That's really what our job is to be. And so what starts as temperatures, humidities, pressures, that kind of stuff, ends up looking like just a flag going up to the contractor saying there's a problem here that needs to be addressed, and all of the crunching and validation has been done for you. So all you need to do is run your business just like you were before, but instead of a homeowner calling in and making a demand call, now it's a data demand call based on the processing that we do for them.
And one of the taglines that we've used as we've been working together is that you should be able to know what the problem is with your customer system before your customer knows.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the nirvana, right? Is that systems never break down again. Yeah. They just get serviced, right? And that's what we're working towards. There's a lot that goes into that. All the parties have to do their job, and we have to be, perfect, and so we're iterating that way. But certainly that is the goal, and that's where everybody wants to see, is that nobody ever loses comfort, right? And the systems, because they're maintained better, end up lasting longer as well.
So Smart AC can be installed with the measureQuick app, and it's going to be absolutely straightforward with the new 2.5 workflows that are coming out within the next week. And for a contractor to adopt this for their business, there's a process where they get their employee pilot, where they test out a couple of devices, and then they can, how does the rest of it work with the subscription?
Yeah, so basically you outlined the beginning of the process, right? Which is we want to put the product in everybody's hands and let them test it first. That's the best way for them to see it. And they're tactile people, right? They deal with their hands for a living. And so putting sensors in place and seeing the data flow through, and then we do a dashboard review, and we let them see what actually happens if they decide to move forward. And yeah, on the other side of it, when they decide to ultimately move forward, it's a subscription model where for $10 a month, the kit that we ship to them will monitor one AC unit for that month, right? So $10 a month for ongoing monitoring, and then everything's covered. The platform, there's no subscription fees outside of that.
Costs.
No hardware costs. There's no training. We do everything inside of that subscription, whether they order 100 or 1,000. Right?
It's so easy. Yeah. And also, speaking of easy, and there's the CRM integrations.
Yeah, correct. So currently we're integrated to a couple different CRMs. We've got Service Fusion and Service Titan, and many more on the way. But yeah, the idea is that once the data signifies there's an alert, and that's been processed through our algorithms, we send that in the form of a lead into their standard workflow. So it goes right back into the CRM. Their dispatchers see it. Their CSRs can act on it just like any other workflow. Call the customer and say, we've got an issue we'd like to address, it's confirming for the schedule, and then they run that normal workflow, and at the end of it, when the invoice gets processed and that data is now a closed ticket, that comes back to us to say, hey, this issue was resolved and here's the result of it. So the last thing I'd say is that whatever field service management platform you're using is step one, right? You've got to get your business in order so that you can run your daily workflows. The very next thing you should be doing is using measureQuick and Smart AC, because that really catapults your business to a whole nother growth level.
Awesome, thanks Andy.
You got it.
Check in soon.